The checkout line at the supermarket moved along as usual, voices mingling, scanners beeping, bags crinkling. Then everything shifted. A man in a sharp suit stepped up to the register. Confident, composed. He handed over a sleek black card. Swipe. Declined. Again. Declined. The screen's message froze the moment. Whispers rippled through the line. A few smirks. The cashier burst out laughing, cruel and unrestrained. The man's jaw tightened, his gaze dropping to the floor. At his side, a little girl tugged at his hand. Her worried eyes searching his face. No one knew who he was. No one guessed the fortune attached to his name. And no one imagined that in this moment of public humiliation, the quiet bravery of a child would change everything. He was Alexander Grant, a billionaire, a man whose name adorned skyscrapers, whose empire was built on steel and determination. He had spoken in boardrooms filled with power, but here, stripped of wealth and status, he was just another man whose card had failed. This wasn't a banking error. It wasn't fraud. It was life delivering a lesson in the harshest way possible. For years, Alexander had lived behind walls of power and privilege. He rarely noticed the silent struggles of everyday people, now exposed in front of strangers. The laughter around him cut deep. Then the unthinkable happened. The little girl beside him, no more than 7 years old, with braids and a worn purple shirt, stepped forward. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a few crumpled bills and coins, her treasure. Slowly, she placed it on the counter, her small voice trembling as she offered to pay for his groceries. The room fell silent. The cashier stopped laughing. The crowd, once entertained by his humiliation, now shifted uneasily. Alexander, a man who had once written checks larger than most families' yearly income, could barely breathe. For the first time in decades, he felt humility. His eyes burned with tears he refused to let fall. That child, with almost nothing, had given him everything. The store's energy changed. Heads lowered in shame. The laughter that mocked him turned into silence heavy with regret. When the groceries were packed, Alexander knelt to the girl's level. His voice cracked as he thanked her. She didn't know him as a billionaire. She only saw a man in need, and in her world, kindness was never optional, it was necessary. That night, Alexander couldn't sleep. The image of her offering her last coins replayed endlessly in his mind. For years, he measured wealth by numbers and possessions. Now he understood real wealth was compassion. Weeks later, headlines spread nationwide. Alexander Grant, once infamous for ruthless deals, had launched a foundation dedicated to struggling families. Grocery bills were paid in towns across the country. Homes were repaired. Children received scholarships they never dreamed possible. But the money wasn't what mattered. Alexander himself was there, walking aisles, visiting homes, listening to stories. And at the heart of it all was the little girl in a purple shirt, the one who had shown him what true wealth meant. Years later, people didn't speak of his towers or billions. They spoke of the day a credit card declined and a child's kindness reshaped a man's legacy, because true wealth is not in bank accounts or steel towers. It's in courage, compassion, and the choice to lift others when the world turns away.